And happening now, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is facing scrutiny from lawmakers after reportedly blocking the promotions of 9 naval officers in a move that disproportionately impacted women and black service members. 5 current and former defense officials detailed to the New York Times how Hegseth's actions appeared to defy rules of the Pentagon's promotion process. That system is supposed to be non-political and based on merit.
Trump administration's once again under fire for the way in which they are running the military. New reporting from the Wall Street Journal, of all places, claims that Secretary Pete Hegseth is blocking the appointment of 9 Air Force colonels and delayed promotions for at least 24 more senior officers, despite objections from those involved in overseeing promotions. Hegseth's move targeted at least 2 women, 2 black men and 3 white men, and it appeared to violate the US military's apolitical and merit-based promotion rules. This according to 4 unidentified current and former defense officials who told the New York Times.
John Parnell told the Times that promotions are given to those who have earned them and that the department will never consider the color of a service member's skin or their gender as a factor. Parnell did not address why Hegseth pulled the officers from the Navy's 1-star list. And joining us now to further discuss is retired Lieutenant Colonel Amy McGrath. She's a former Marine combat fighter pilot and recently ran as a Democrat in the Kentucky Senate primary. Nice to see you back on the show here. So if you would, just as we start off this conversation, explain how these promotions typically work and why these actions by the Defense Secretary are so unusual.
Sure. Well, first of all, the folks that get to this level, Pamela, these are the best of the best. They have spent their entire careers doing very hard jobs, very high performance. And promotion boards aren't just some random selection committee. This is the toughest scrutiny of performance records of any profession that I know, takes months of review. And these boards, they make sure you've done the tough jobs. They make sure you've done them very well. All of these officers have done this or they wouldn't have gotten to this point. And for the names to be pulled by Secretary Hegseth, clearly because of race and gender, is outrageous.
And shortly after that report was published, the Wall Street Journal said that 8 Navy captains had been denied promotions and that Hegseth was also trying to prevent several 1-star admirals from advancing in rank. This move marks the latest in a series of firings and personnel decisions by Pete Hegseth, just days after he delivered an incendiary speech to graduates of the U.S. Military Academy in West Point, where he attacked previous leaders as having been, quote, woke and weak.
The single dumbest phrase in military history was peddled in our Army only a few short years ago. You've all heard it, maybe in your first 2 years at West Point. Our diversity is our strength. The single dumbest phrase in military history. We had generals saying this with a straight face on national television. It was absolute nonsense. Now, these sorts of silly things can be laughed at when they occur in a civilian lounge or civilian faculty lounge or debated in graduate seminars. But they cannot be tolerated in our formations. These ideas are what get people killed. Diversity is not our strength. Unity is our strength. The call is send us, not send he, not send she, not send they, them. It's send us. Our strength is our shared purpose. Our strength is our oath to the Constitution. It's our embrace of the Army values, the idea of merit, our mission, our absolute commitment to duty and honor and country. These are the things that unify us. Send me becomes send us. Because you are one fighting force, just as we are one nation under God.
And here's the thing, it's not just Hegseth. When asked for comment on this matter, a representative from the Pentagon failed to address the situation and instead repeated an insult favored by President Trump by saying, quote, the failing New York Times continues to push this worn-out narrative because they view almost everything through the lens of race and gender over merit. But those involved in this merit-based system are claiming that they're just avoiding merit. In fact, these officers deserve the promotions. And as I've mentioned, it's not the first time that Hegseth has come under scrutiny for his decisions. In February of 2025, he fired Admiral Lisa Franchetti as the first female chief of naval operations, and he recommended that General Charles Brown, the second African-American chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, be fired for his, quote, woke focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion before Trump replaced him with General Dan Kane. And in March, it was also reported that he removed the names of 2 black men and 2 women from a list of Army officers slated to become one-star generals.
Despite the fact that as of 2024, nearly 33% of active duty service members are of color and nearly 18% are women, Hegseth made it quite clear that that type of representation in the top ranks does not matter to him.
The era of DEI is gone at the Defense Department, and we need the best and brightest. Physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. We're reviving the warrior ethos. We're eliminating the distractions and the debris. No more DEI.
Two of the first leaders Hegseth let go were former Joint Chiefs Chair General C.Q. Brown, the second black officer to hold that post, and Chief of Naval Operations Lisa Franchetti, the first woman to lead the U.S. Navy. Just last week, the New York Times reported that in an extraordinarily rare move, Hegseth was actively blocking the promotions of 4 Army officers. Officials saying 2 of the officers are black, 2 of them are women. Parnell defended the promotion process to the New York Times as apolitical and unbiased, unquote. The New York Times reports that Army Secretary Dan Driscoll repeatedly refused to let Hegseth strike those officers' names from the promotion list. Officials told the Times that Driscoll took heat from Hegseth's chief of staff, the controversial Ricky Berea, for promoting Major General Antoinette Gant to command the military district of Washington. The Times reporting, quote, Mr. Berea told Mr. Driscoll that President Trump would not want to stand next to a black female officer at military events, the official said, unquote.
And that's where the pattern kind of becomes impossible to ignore, right? And past military leaders and senior lawmakers are sounding the alarm. Senator Jack Reed, the top Democrat on the Senate Armed Services Committee, has condemned Hegseth's interference with merit-based promotions, saying, quote, if Secretary Hegseth intervened to block or delay the promotion of highly qualified officers who were selected by their peers based on merit and performance, it is disgraceful and a complete betrayal of the merit-based promotion system that is the foundation of our military.
The military promotion board system is central to our military in every way, shape, and form. The law that we promulgated requires the selection boards use a comprehensive evaluation process to review an officer's entire record and select officers who are, quote, the best qualified for promotion and future service. It's based on the collective assessment and judgment of their peers throughout their OERs and also the senior officers on the board. Can you tell us why Secretary Hegseth directed that 5 names be withheld from the most recent Army one-star list concerning officers accused of no misconduct? And did you support or recommend the actions by the Secretary?
Ranking member, the private conversations between me and Secretary of War, I'll never talk about those. I will say that the United States Army has always followed the rules and regulations around promotion board. Well,
I don't think there's a very clear role for the Secretary of Defense to take off individuals from the board. What other promotion boards have been subject to this review?
I'm sorry, Senator, would you mind repeating?
But this move fits the broader purge of senior military leadership that we have seen since Hegseth stepped into that role. The Wall Street Journal reported that Hegseth removed or sidelined more than 20 flag officers since taking office. And again, all this is happening while the U.S. is dealing with an active conflict in Iran, which of course adds pressure to military readiness. It's becoming ever more apparent that Trump and Hegseth appear to be forcing the military to fit a political narrative. Therefore, leaders associated with diversity, inclusion, or the previous administration are all suspect.
Mr. Secretary, you recently fired the Army Chief of Staff, General Randy George, who's one of the most distinguished and decorated officers of his generation. General George's nomination came before us. We reviewed it thoroughly and we concurred. Why did you fire General George?
Well, as I did then, and I'll say now, we thank General George for his service. And out of respect to him and other officers, we never talk about the nature of why certain officers are asked to step down. But we all serve at the pleasure of the president. And ultimately, my view in coming into this department, as I stated in my confirmation hearing, was to change the culture of the department. And it's ultimately challenging to change the department, the culture of a department with the same people who are a part of or in that department. So I have made many changes with general officers. We will continue to make changes as necessary with general officers, and they will be in keeping with the trajectory of where we would like to take the department. But it doesn't take away from the service of those. And I think you will note that every officer that's been asked to leave has been treated with respect.
Interesting. Of the 24 officers that you have fired for reasons unrelated to performance, since you have not indicated any cause, 60% are Black or females. Now, did the president direct you to single out female and Black officers to be dismissed?
I mean, it's not like they're gaining confidence from Americans either with their new approach to the military, right? While the conflict in Iran continues and the narrative is ever evolving, with Rubio claiming that we won the war despite the fact that conflict remains imminent. Well, according to the polls, more Americans support withdrawal, even if it means objectives haven't yet been met.
Before the war started, there was clear intelligence that Shuaibah was high on Iran's target list. Internal analysis had said the site was indefensible from aerial attack and should not be used. Yet you sent our soldiers from the 103rd Sustainment Command there anyway. Is that true or false? True or false? Straightforward question.
Are you going to give me a chance to answer or just play gotcha?
Did you send them there or not?
We took proactive measures from the beginning to ensure force protection and defensive posture were maximized across the theater.
Let's talk about what defenses they had. Prior to the attack, officers on the ground knew our troops were vulnerable. In fact, they requested additional force protection. Did they receive it?
Wherever humanly possible, force protection and counter UAS was always made available.
They did not. In fact, when asked to describe the base's defense, one survivor who's come forward from the unit said, quote, I would put it in the none category. From a drone defense capability, none.
Meaning the American people, they don't have faith in those overseeing military operations.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.